Hello, everyone. This time, I will explain my complete process of creating one episode of a Webtoon. The 2025 Webtoon contest is about to open, and there's less than a month left for preparation. I think with such a short time, you need to be fully prepared if you want to compete. The first thing you need to prepare is the story. To create the story for your Webtoon, you should start by deciding on its genre. What is the main genre of your Webtoon? Romance, slice of life, action, fantasy? Choose one main genre that best represents the story you want to create. After deciding on the main genre, you can create an overall summary of your story, known as a logline. A logline will explain the main goal your protagonist wants to achieve and the conflict that stands in their way. For example, here's a logline from a Webtoon I once created. She always daydreams to escape her loneliness. One day, someone makes her realize that there is a reality she must face. That is the logline I created for my Webtoon titled Halloo, which I made back in 2020. From this logline, we can determine the protagonist's goal and the conflict they face. The purpose of creating a logline is to keep your story on track and prevent it from straying too far. Next, you can expand your logline to outline your story from beginning to end. Write down the key points of your story, including the major events and conflicts that have the most impact on your character. For example, here's how I structured the story for Halloo, Inciting Incident. Carissa is a high school student known for her habit of daydreaming. She's been doing this since elementary school, which led to her being bullied by her classmates. Her only protector is Charisma, her twin brother, while on the other hand, there is someone who constantly opposes her daydreaming habit, Adrian. One day, during a physical education class in high school, an accident happens to Carissa. Adrian accidentally kicks a ball that hits Carissa's head, knocking her unconscious. Lock in. Charisma, who has always been Carissa's protector, is not around at that moment, leaving Adrian to take full responsibility for his actions. He carries Carissa to the school infirmary, but even by the time school ends, she still hasn't regained consciousness. With all the school staff instructing students to go home, Adrian has no choice but to help Carissa, who remains unconscious, get back to her house. Midpoint. Carissa regains consciousness only when she is near her house. Even though she dislikes Adrian for always disrupting her daydreaming habit, she invites him inside as a gesture of gratitude. As Adrian looks around, he notices that the house appears unchanged, as if the people around Carissa are still living alongside her. At first, Carissa feels offended by Adrian's words, until he confronts her with the harsh truth that all her family members have already passed away, no matter how much she tries to escape into her fantasies. Main culmination. Adrian's statement is true. The reason Carissa has been trapped in her fantasies is that all her family members have passed away. Her beloved mother, her twin brother, who was also her best friend, and even her father, who always protected her, are all gone. Carissa has been hallucinating, convincing herself that they are still alive to mask her sadness and loneliness. However, Adrian is always there to confront her with the painful truth. Third act twist. Adrian explains that no matter what, people cannot stay trapped in the past. They must gradually accept reality, even if it is painful. He tells Carissa that she doesn't have to feel lonely anymore because he has always been by her side. Carissa begins to embrace the truth. She bids a final farewell to Charisma, who had only existed in her imagination all this time. In the end, Carissa no longer feels alone, as she now has Adrian by her side. That is the plot I wrote for Halloo, a short Webtoon I once created. The 5 paragraphs above were developed into 4 Webtoon episodes, which have already been completed. After writing the main plot, the next step is creating a script. The script is used to plan the number of panels and episodes for your Webtoon. Webtoon platforms usually have specific requirements for panel counts depending on the genre. For slice of life or comedy genres, has a lower panel requirement, while other genres typically require at least custom brush for the uniform patterns. Here's how to create a custom brush for patterns. Prepare the pattern you want. Select the pattern designing my own Webtoon backgrounds. I have prepared several essential locations that will be used throughout Here is the result of the storyboard I created. If you are working in a team, make the storyboard as clear as possible to avoid misunderstandings with the line artist later. Next is the line art stage. I don't think much explanation is needed here. Distorted, making it easier to work with. It also helps when erasing parts of the line art. Another tip from me is to separate the character's eye layer to make This is the result of my line art, which is now ready to proceed to the coloring stage. The next step is coloring, which will be divided into 3 phases: base, shading, and lighting. We start by adding the base color. I begin by blocking each character with a gray color first to make it easier when applying the base color later. In fact, everyone's coloring method is different, but you can also follow my steps. page easily. I think that covers the complete process I wanted to share in this video. Since I have experience in creating manhwa, my webtoon making style leans more towards manhwa. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions or anything you'd like to discuss. That's all from me. Thank you for watching.